Join me, 48 Hours correspondent Erin Moriarty, on my podcast, My Life of Crime, as I take on true crime investigations like no other. This season, I'm looking into the labyrinth of crime and secrets within families. I'm cutting straight to the evidence and talking to the people directly involved, including investigators and the families of victims. Listen to My Life of Crime with Erin Moriarty wherever you get your podcasts.
This episode is brought to you by Marvel Studios Echo. All episodes streaming January 9th, only on Hulu and Disney+. Rated TV MALV. Viewer discretion advised. Maya Lopez has betrayed her mentor, the notorious Kingpin. Now on the run, she returns to her hometown to prepare for the biggest fight of her life. Don't miss Marvel Studios' hardest-hitting series yet. An epic 5-episode event. Marvel Studios Echo. All episodes streaming January 9th, only on Hulu and Disney+.
This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Caroline, you should tell them about the newest thing that Bloody Happy Hour is doing.
A Patreon.
It's a Patreon. What is that?
That means you're basically like a VIP member, and there's 2 different levels that you can, subscribe to, and you get some perks. You maybe get like merch a little earlier. You get
exclusive merch.
You could get first dibs on signing up for a live show. You get episodes with no commercials.
You get our video because our video is no longer available on YouTube. It is only on Patreon. And the most important to me is you get videos of our live shows. So if you are far away and you couldn't make our last live show, it will be on the website. We're going to record this future live show. It's going to be on Patreon, but also bonus episodes each month. You guys tell us all the time you want more episodes. This is a way for you to get more episodes. So you're going to get our basic Tuesday, Thursdays that we always put out, right? But if you're on a Patreon, you're VIP, you're going to get more.
I can't wait to talk about in detail some more stories because I always have a lot of details I want to go to. I can law-splain. I might read a book.
They just unsubscribed. This is also going to be the exclusive place that Dirty Chat is going to go to. So if that is breaking some of your hearts, just go ahead and subscribe now. In order to hear the full content, it's going to be Patreon. Where do they go again?
Patreon.com/BloodyHappyHour.
Don't forget to
stay aware,
stay alive,
and always be DTF.
Hey y'all, I'm April.
And I'm Caroline.
And this
is your Bloody Happy Hour.
Caroline, are you ready for this?
This is your newest guilty pleasure.
It's the bloodiest part of your week.
Did we say something about it also being happy hour?
Show did.
Because we about to be sipping on some murder. Bloody Happy Hour.
Okay. Hey y'all, this is April.
And this is Caroline.
This is your Bloody Happy Hour Quickie edition. Turn Up Tuesday. This is where we are bringing you some news, up-to-date news, anything that's going on that may catch our eye. So, I have an update from a previous story, Caroline.
Ooh.
Do you remember the Antonio Armstrong story? So this was the former NFL football player. He retired and he was living in Houston and he owned a gym and he was like a deacon at his church, and he and his wife were shot in the head while they slept in their bed in their Houston condo. Only 2 people in the house were their 2 kids, a daughter and a son, Antonio Jr., and ultimately his 16-year-old son, Antonio, got arrested for the murders.
Okay.
What they just realized is that there was no forced entry. There was the gun that was used to kill them was like a gun that was already inside the house, so like their gun.
Yeah.
The son did call 911, And then when he let the police in, he had to turn off the alarm to let the police in. So that means the alarm had been set the whole time they were shot, so then nobody breached the condo, allegedly, right? So he was arrested and then they found bullet holes in his pillow in his room. And on the floor, like he was practicing, maybe. So he'd been in jail. This happened like 7 years ago, I believe.
Okay.
And he was 16 years old. There was only one other possible suspect, and that was a stepson that had like mental issues. So he went to trial 2 times, and both of them ended in hung juries. Remember that? Okay. So
you said this in Houston?
This was in Houston.
Yeah.
So on June 5th, they were going to trial for a 3rd time because this district attorney up there was like, this family needs justice. This kid needs to pay for what he did. And they're kind of painting the picture as like a spoiled rich kid that, wasn't getting along with his dad, and so he killed him. So June 5th, they were about to start opening statements, but then the judge postponed it for 1 more week due to reasons out of the court's control. And so it had something to do with like a professional witness or somebody that was coming in. So court started the following week on June 5th. There's no cameras allowed in the courtroom. And I have seen, June 12th is when it was going to start. I have seen nothing else since then. I've Googled, I've YouTubed, like the that a news station that said that they were going to follow it. Every other time they went to court, it lasted about 4 to 6 weeks, but then ended up being hung. So I have no idea where this case is right now. So obviously they're in court right now, or there would have been an update saying that it was canceled or postponed. I just don't know how there's not any information out there on like.
Yeah, nobody's reporting on it.
And it is the biggest case this year in Houston. And it's been an ongoing case. And so what the judge said is they're trying to minimize publicity because this has been such a big case. And they think that has affected jurors in the past. 2, there are 6 women on the jurors, so it's about half and half. But they're all grandmothers, okay? And so they think that is huge for Antonio Jr. because his grandma, he lived with his grandma afterwards, like after he got out of jail, was bailed out of jail, and his family is on his side. They all think he's innocent. So his grandma has gotten on the stand and said, my grandson did not do this. He deserves to have a life. And so they're thinking that this grandma is going to appeal to these other grandmas on the jury and that he could possibly be not guilty this time. So when I covered the story, like with you guys, I was like, yeah, he did it. But 2020 put an episode out earlier this year with a lot more information than I had. I had reasonable doubt to think that maybe he couldn't.
Oh, no.
So I think, I was kind of like in the middle. So if that's how the trial has been going, that's why it's been a hung jury. Because what's come out is that right after the murder is that his gym was broken into, the computers were taken, and that allegedly Antonio could have been involved in some like undercover prostitution like ring. What? Him or his partner, like his gym partner. So could that somebody from that whole part of his life had killed him? So that just raises a reasonable doubt. So I'm going to be watching out for that. I think it's going to be a story of when it's all over, said and done, that maybe we could cover like the full story just because it's just been going and going and going. And now the little boy, he's 16, but now he was 16, but this is 7 years later. He's since gotten married. He's since had a kid. He's been out on bail, like with an ankle monitor, but really not been able to live his life.
I mean, I feel like he's living his life. He's getting married, having kids.
Yeah.
He actually is. Maybe.
I guess with this just over his head, maybe.
But do they have any other idea of who did do it?
No, there's like no other.
I mean, they don't, that's not the,
They think that stepson maybe, who had mental issues and he didn't get along with the parents.
So he just is not even a suspect?
He was not brought in as a suspect, but he was like, he was an official suspect, but he was brought into court and like questioned, and all of his past and mental issues and drug issues came up, I guess, just to create a reasonable doubt with the jury. But I think he had an alibi.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, somebody had to do it.
Somebody did it. Somebody did it.
And now a word from our sponsors.
I'm your puzzle pal, and I'm going to tell you about my latest obsession, Wongo puzzles. These things are the real deal, folks. They're high quality, handcrafted, and perfect for anyone who loves a good challenge, but doesn't want to dedicate their entire kitchen table to puzzles for a week. Trust me, I've been there. I might still be there. But I got one of these actually for Christmas. I loved it. I did it, and I was so proud of myself. And they have all these cool designs, and you need to go to wongopuzzles.com and use our discount, BHH. You get 10% off. And I really want to know, if you'll order one of these puzzles, what you think about it, because it's so fun, and I need to order like 5.
Cure hydration. If you are obsessed with your hydration like I am, this may be something good for you. This is something that is so easy. Forget about the Gatorade. That just dehydrates you even more. And if you don't like the taste of coconut water, try Cure Hydration. You can go to my offer link. It is zen.ai/BHH20. This is vegan. It's no added sugars. It's just a little packet you could put in your water. Or if you're really smart during happy hour, you could put it into your Tito's. It is just as effective as an IV drip. And if you do not like the taste of water, it's not as boring as water, not as sugary as the sports drink. And if you're an athlete, it'll give you the best performance. Or if you just get brain fog or headaches because you do not stay hydrated.
Brain frog?
Brain fog. The solution is Cure Hydration. So go to that link, enter the code. You can go to my offer link. It is zen.ai/BHH20. Cure Hydration. Okay, this next one is just like a what the hell happened case. So this is a 23-year-old Tennessee State University veterinarian student, and her name is Mia Kanu. So Tennessee State's in Nashville, Tennessee, but she's from Michigan. So she just come home for summer vacation, and some friends picked her up, like high school friends that she knew, picked her up, and they were going to a party, just like you do when you come home from college for the summer. You connect with some of your old friends, right? Well, that was like that was June 2nd. She did not come home. She was found in the road, lying in the road in the early morning hours of June 3rd. Okay? Outside an apartment complex where she had attended this party with friends. She was taken off life support on June 8th, and her organs were being donated. So people were like, what happened? So what happened is just like a car was passing by and saw this young girl in the road and called 911. They found surveillance footage that showed her being ejected from a vehicle and just left there. Nobody got out. The drivers, the people in the car didn't try to help her back in. She was being ejected. And then they drove off. Somebody else came and called the police. She was with 2 other people, a driver and a passenger in that car, and they are cooperating with the police, but they have not released the names of these people or like how she knew them. All they know is that there was a fight that was at that party, and so they left that party because a fight broke out.
Okay.
But they didn't say if the fight involved Mia or one of the people in the vehicle, or if it was between them. They just said there was a fight at the party, and they left due to the fight at the party at this apartment. But the people that she was with were not the ones who called 911. So somebody fell out of your car and you didn't call 911, or was thrown from your car, and the autopsy confirmed that there was head trauma, but nothing else. Like the video footage hadn't been released, but there was no other like deformities or disfigurement or anything that would imply that she was like beaten or like assaulted, or that she was struck by another vehicle. So she was intact, besides head trauma.
How did she get ejected? Did they crash into something?
Nope. Look
so
at this girl.
So they threw her out of the car.
Oh, that's how beautiful she is. She was like, I mean, it's her first year? No, 23-year-old. So maybe junior, senior year. She wanted to be a veterinarian. Her mom is trying to get answers, and she just doesn't have any right now. Her liver, her kidneys, and her tissues, and her heart have all been donated. And this happened on June 3rd, and there's nothing else been reported since.
No, I've not heard a thing about that.
It just popped up on, I think, Oxygen, the Oxygen page. And so I've been looking back and nothing.
But they're saying a homicide, or what?
Yeah, they're investigating it as a homicide. And they're working with the people that were in the car, and then that's it. And it's June 23rd, 20 days later.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't either.
So I'm gonna. I mean, it's sketchy.
Well, yeah, you would think they would at least have maybe like some suspect, and what do the people have to say? They were in the car with her. Are they saying what happened? We don't know.
Yeah. Well, they are being cooperative, so we just don't know what happened. So are police just gathering all the evidence, and then are they going to make a statement, or do they not give a shit?
Apparently not, because the evidence. I mean,
yeah.
Gosh.
So 20 days later, we still don't know what's happening. So I'm gonna follow that, and we're gonna go to some tragic in Claremont, Ohio.
Oh.
June 15th, just after 4 p.m., a couple of 911 calls came in. 32-year-old Chad Dowerman lined up his 3 boys, ages 3, 4, and 7, on his front porch and shot them execution style with his own rifle. One of them actually got away, took off running, like attempted to flee, but Chad chased down his own son.
Hunted.
Oh, hunted with a rifle.
Hunted his son down.
And drug him back and shot him. His wife was there to see this all. She was shot, but in the hand, because she was trying to protect her kids. His stepdaughter was there and actually took off running down the road, and she is one of the people that called 911. Somebody saw her running. She was running with the dog, actually. It said that her and her little lab, she had made a 911 call and said that her stepdad is shooting everybody in the house. When the police got there, the boys were dead in the yard in different places. neighbors saw the bodies out in the yard, and Chad was just sitting on the porch next to his rifle, just calm, cool, calm, and collect, and was pretty cooperative with the police.
Yeah.
Because police footage is out there. It has been released. It's a couple minutes long. You can hear the mother like screaming in the background. You took my life from me. You took my life from me. They didn't show her. They did later release her name, and her injuries were life-threatening. She just got shot in the hand.
We're not life-threatening.
Is that what I said?
I mean, because it was just her hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that? But did I say they were life-threatening?
I think.
Oh, they were not life-threatening because she just got shot in the hand trying to protect her kids. On the footage, the police tell him, get down on the ground. They handcuff him. He's very calm. He's not irate. He's not really emotional or anything. He tries to keep the dogs away from them by like yelling at the dogs in this video. He even says, I'm a little uncomfortable. Can I roll over? Oh, can I get up? I'm uncomfortable. And they do. He even asked the policeman to get the wallet out of his pocket. And you could tell these really are good policemen. They're aggravated with him. And one of them's like, exercise your right to fucking shut up or whatever it was, which they should have. He has like some traffic citations and one domestic violence charge from years ago for choking his dad. His dad says that was a misunderstanding. Mm-hmm. He was arraigned the very next day, where you can find that video too. He was shackled. He was very red-faced. This time he was a little bit more emotional, and you could tell that he had tears in his eyes. His dad was interviewed, and he just said that he must have snapped, that he's not an angry person, and that he don't know what happened, but he doesn't know why he would do it because he had not been able to talk to his son at that time. So we really don't know like what the motive is. The bond was set at $20 million. There was some interviews with some of the neighbors, and one of the neighbors said, it was a guy, said that Chad was a very angry man, that he was always yelling and always berating his wife and his kids, and that he was a bomb ready to explode. So you got dad saying that he wasn't angry. You got his Facebook profile pictures, and that makes it look like he's a great dad. But then you got this neighbor that says that he's constantly yelling. Since then, they have interviewed Chad, and he admitted to planning to kill them for months. Premeditated. So you can, if you've been planning to kill them for months, you can't say that this was a temporarily act of a mental break or something, So they don't know a motive. Like, they haven't said a motive yet. So what are your thoughts?
I think that he did this to punish his wife in some way, because he did not kill her, and he could have very easily done so. He clearly shot the kids execution style in order to kill them, and did not the wife. I think his dad has issues, because he went on to say, oh, he's a great father. We're like, I don't think he's that much of a great father at all.
You can't say that.
Yeah, the neighbor, I saw that interview. But then, just a while ago, I saw that he pled not guilty.
Wow. How? Why?
I don't have a clue, because I didn't see by reason of anything. And are you just wanting to put your wife through a trial?
It is all aimed at his wife.
I feel like that's got to be something, because typically, if you're that guilty to where there's witnesses, multiple, you got the gun, right? I mean, unless you're trying to plead insanity, which is very hard to do.
Especially if you already admitted to planning that for forever.
Yeah,
for the last couple months.
I just think it has something to do with the wife, and he's just
all of it to do with the
hates her so much.
Wanted to punish her.
It's kind of like a Chris Watts. Like, he hated Shanann so much, he wanted to get rid of all of them.
Yeah.
It's almost like the hate for the wife overtook and I guess the hate for the kid. Maybe he didn't hate the kids, but he hated his wife so much he wanted to get rid of the kids too. I don't know.
Well, I think Chris Watts was just selfish. Like, he did not need them anymore because he wanted to go be with Nikki. And so the best way to get rid of them, be with Nikki, is to get rid of your family. And
I
then
think
go
in
be with
order
Nikki.
to kill your kids,
I think Chris Watts is a total sociopath, like narcissist. Like, I don't think he gave a shit about him.
yeah.
Anyways, so he was going through the motions, and he was like doing what he was supposed to do as a dad. And as long as he needed them to be who he needed to be, then they could live. But as soon as he didn't need them anymore, then bye. Kind of like Christian Longo and all of them. They no longer needed his purpose. Now, Shanann Watts was demasculating and probably did drive him crazy, and it probably made it easier for him to kill her. But he didn't need those kids.
You could have just, like we always say, get
Leave.
a divorce.
Leave.
You're cheating on her, just get a divorce. If you don't want to see your kids, then don't see them.
Yeah. So there's that story.
It's a lot less work that way.
I do think that
I mean, he didn't have
he's
money.
so
but
pissed at his wife.
Yeah.
So I'm eager to see what's going to come out about, like, what was he pissed about? Was she about to leave him? Did she have an affair, or was he just an angry
I think
person?
he was an angry person. Obviously, he choked his dad before, and what the neighbors had said about him, but angry. But he's clearly very angry at his wife.
Yeah,
because he did not kill her.
And now a word from our sponsors.
All right, if you love smoothies or if you love your protein in the morning, you need to get you a Blend Jet. You can do that if you go into blendjet.com. If you enter the code BHH12, you get a discount. And let me tell you, these things are portable. They are easy to use. They can fit in your cup holder. You can have it at home, or you can have it in your office like I do. Right this morning, I had my blueberry banana one
How was
with
it?
some chia seed.
Wasn't chunky or anything?
It was very smooth. When I have it in my shaker, it is a little chunky. So this is a great alternative.
I love it.
It is battery powered, so all you have to do is plug it in every 2 weeks, and the battery never runs down.
Oh my gosh. I love battery powered things.
Go to BlendJets and order you a BlendJet and get a discount.
Thanks, April, for sharing.
Did you know you could be putting oil and chemicals in your coffee? I love coffee creamer, but I don't think I've ever turned the bottle around to actually see what's inside. When I did, I found out many of my favorite creamers contain ingredients I would never intentionally add to my coffee cup, like canola oil, dipotassium phosphate, ew, and artificial flavors. Laird Superfood all started when big wave surfer Laird Hamilton needed morning fuel that could allow him to spend the entire day chasing the ultimate wave. He couldn't find anything in the market that met his ingredient standards, so made himself the ultimate plant-based creamer. Laird Superfood started and launched its first product, Original Superfood Creamer, in 2015. Laird Superfoods contain no artificial flavors, colors, or additives, and no sugars from highly refined corn syrup. All Laird products are sustainably sourced and thoroughly tested to ensure that you're incorporating the cleanest, finest fuel into your routine. All Laird products are also made of all-natural whole food ingredients, and they are crafted from the highest quality all-natural real food ingredients. Are you ready to feel more energized, focused, and supported? Go to lairdsuperfood.com and add nourishing plant-based foods to fuel you from sunrise to sunset. Use our promo code BOO at checkout to save 15% off your purchase today.
Now, the story I've been obsessed with for the past 3 days, 4 days. The freaking Titan. The submersible. Caroline's got her pilot
This
hat
is
on.
my sailor hat.
Sailor hat on.
This
Sailor
is a
hat on.
marine hat.
Are you allowed to wear that? Wait, sailors, Marines?
This is a costume. This is part of a costume.
I thought Navy is.
No, not like the like a marina, like a maritime.
Oh.
That kind of marine.
Oh, okay. Well,
this is my maritime hat. That's what I'll call it.
So, let's talk about the submersible really quick. And we definitely are going to talk about it at the live show as well. I've been talking about it.
Or we
every
did
day.
talk about it at the live show.
We did. Do y'all remember that conversation? Titan. So when I was writing this the other day, we didn't know where the Titan was. But now we know that is basically these people were Titanic obsessed people, millionaires, and they paid $250,000 to go, was it 13,000 feet below sea level, to see the Titanic wreckage in a submersible vehicle that was made by this Stockton Rush guy in Ocean Gate. He's the CEO of Ocean Gate, but it is not, for the lack of better words, accredited or acceptable or FDA approved. It's
made out of carbon fiber.
It was on the do not go in list. But he had been taking these trips for years. This wasn't the first trip. This wasn't the second trip. It was the first trip, I think, of this year. But he had been taking these trips for years. And so I've been watching, like, videos of, like, previous trips or whatever. And so many of these trips he had to cancel because something went wrong, like, as soon as they get in the water. And they got to try again. One girl saved up for 30 years to buy this ticket to go see the Titanic. Okay. Saved up for 30 years. She says some people want a house. Some people want to save for retirement. I wanted to see the Titanic. Mm-hmm. She attempted 4 times, and each time something went wrong. Yeah. She ultimately got to get on, right? Well, when they lost communication with the submersible, with the Titan, an hour and 45 minutes after they submerged. And then over the next couple days, which that's not the first time that's happened, over the next couple days, people just got obsessed because we knew that there was only 96 hours of oxygen in there. And then so you had like the professionals coming on saying that one of 3 things could happen is that it could have got snagged down there because it is crazy wreckage down there, like on on the Titanic, or like a big fishing net or something. And then they were stuck with no power. And so then their oxygen could run out, or they could have just imploded. Or there's 7 different ways that this submersible knew how to, like, basically save itself and get back up to the top of the water. Mm-hmm. And so they're thinking, hopefully the best case scenario is that maybe it was floating on the top of the water somewhere, and so they just got to find them. Right. That was not a likely scenario, but that was like the best case scenario. And by the end of the day on Tuesday, they had reported that they were hearing sounds like purposeful banging, where they put their sonar detectors in, and every 30 minutes they were hearing banging sounds. So they were thinking, is this communication? We're going to try to follow the banging. Okay, so people went to bed Tuesday night into Wednesday with maybe a little bit of hope. And then by Thursday, they found pieces of the Titan on the floor near the Titanic where they would have traveled. And so ultimately said that it would have imploded, which means, of course, everybody would be dead. The question is when, though. And then when is that banging?
I think it once they were
Went
the
down
hour and a half in and lost. I think it just imploded right then.
Because they have like this underwater. Oh, what do they call it? Like basically top secret. I don't know. Underwater, like not
the
cameras,
like
but
the
the
Navy can detect enemy ships and enemy devices coming from far away or whatever.
And the only sound or explosion that they heard would have been on that day that they went down.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't get why. If they heard it, then they obviously knew. I mean, obviously they knew.
So why are they saying that on Thursday?
I'm sure
like,
they
why
found
didn't they
all of
say
it
that?
and we're like, okay, well,
give
let's
some
just
people
wait
some
till
hope.
the oxygen runs out, and then we'll come out and tell everybody that we found all of this stuff within just look, we happen to find the hull and we happen to find the legs and it looks like it's imploded.
Yeah.
Bye.
And we so happen to have heard an explosion Sunday.
And James Cameron, that's his name, right? James Cameron. James Cameron.
Who was that? The producer of Titanic?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, he could have taken him and his little Avatar buddies, and they could have gone down there because he's been down there 33 times.
Yeah, 33 times.
But if you look at the difference in the way he traveled versus the way they traveled, they're very different.
Yeah.
He was actually in a submarine with tons of, looked like a pilot, like he was in an airplane, like buttons and buttons. Well, the Titan, no. There's one little elevator button and then a PlayStation or Xbox remote control.
Woo! And I saw his interview.
I'm pretty sure the Titan was put together with like duct tape and Band-Aids. I don't know. They had like.
It is. I know. It made me so mad. It made me so mad. But maybe that's money problems. Like people like that adventure rush. Maybe that's what happens when you're obsessed with the Titanic like that. So you're willing and you just have the disposable money to do something like that. I don't know. But what I did find out is that Stockton Rush is like a great grandchild of
his wife.
Okay.
His wife is a descendant from, the two people who had been on the Titanic. From the people in the movie who were the two older people who fell asleep together to drown together to die together.
Okay.
I forget his name, but he was like a co-founder of Macy's or something like that.
Who? Stockton?
No. So this Rush guy was married, and his wife was the one who was, it's like her great-great-grandparents. The grandparents were part of like founded Macy's.
Oh, okay.
So that's where they were like super rich. And kind of why they were, I guess, like focused on a little bit on the movie.
Got it. It's just, that part was crazy to me. I think I just found that out like last night.
Yeah.
And then how I think the James Cameron guy was like, it's pretty similar to the real story. The captain of Titanic was warned of how unsafe it was to continue to go this way with all the ice and the icebergs, but he was bullheaded and kept going, and then that happened. Well, the fucking captain of Titan was the same thing.
Like,
he was
have they
warned.
gone on these previous trips before with multiple people, or is this the first time they've done it with like a big group?
No, if you go back and you look at these videos, they've done multiples, and like there's a bunch of just like documentaries
in that same ocean.
In the same Titan. That's why I watched one. It was only like a 10-minute video. They attempted it 4 times, so he gave them a credit each time. One time the things flew up.
So
it was
they attempted, but nobody in his boat or submersible never actually made it down there.
No, they did. Yeah, a ton of times. So it's gone wrong this time. So this is not the.
Because I know in 2018 they said like there was this guy who used to work for them and like sued them and for the unsafety of the vessel.
Yeah.
But I want what caused it to just this one time implode? Did it hit something? Like, did some... I don't know. Plus, you're not even... Why do you even want to go on this? I mean, go to like, you could watch the movie and you can see everything better. Or go to, like, a historical museum that has all the stuff displayed. I'm sure they even have a piece of it somewhere.
Just like, watching the damn video of when they went, I saw great pictures.
Like, you're not even looking with your eyeballs. You're looking on a screen, and the screen's probably foggy. I was thinking for a little bit that they most likely, if they were still alive and they were, like, they're, like, needing, they are saving oxygen. Well, the best way to do that is you got to kill somebody.
Oh, so you think
and you can take their oxygen, or like they at least won't take away your oxygen, then you get a little bit more, and if you get hungry, you just gotta
eat each other. I thought about that 19-year-old boy in there, and I read an article about how he was terrified. He did not want to go.
I just saw that he was like, I've read, he was hesitant. He wasn't like all about it, but he was just kind of like, whatever.
I'll go with my dad.
Yeah.
It said that he was. Well, the article that I read, it was like an aunt or somebody coming out saying that he was terrified. He did not want to go, but he decided to go because it was Father's Day. Him and his father, he was going to go with his father and his Titanic crazed father.
This guy apparently had gone, and he's done a couple of other like he's gone to space with Jeff Bezos or something like that. And he's done these like wild excursions. But I'm like, I mean, if you have this much money, can you just give it to other better things? Or no, do you need to go? I guess, I mean, if you have it, you make it, you spend it on whatever you want.
Yeah. I don't know. So there's that. I don't understand. Would you have rather been on the Titan or on the Titanic?
Oh, the Titanic, because I cannot be in that small of a space.
Do you know how many, like, I could not breathe
thinking about it. No.
And just then you have to sit Indian style for that whole time. Then what happens when you got to pee?
Well, they had the tissue box size pee potty thingy. It looked like a milk carton. But then they're probably hopefully it was like they're going down and they're in their hour and a half. They lose contact and they implode. And
that
they're
is
all
best case scenario. You just
jelly everywhere, but. It's better than being stuck in there and with everybody's poop all over the place or whatever, or throw it,
Well, just in panic.
And you can't go anywhere, and you're bolted in.
You will never bolt me into. I will not step into anything.
The only way I'm going to be bolted in is if I'm a victim of the toy box killer who has bolted me in a box.
No, I couldn't. I can't handle it.
Ain't happening. I don't even like getting in elevators with more than 2 people.
Ooh, okay, there's our quickie that's a little bit of a longie. We will see y'all Thursday for the full episode. Go rate us, review us, and subscribe to us. And go and click on our Patreon because the first bonus episode is on there. And we are going to South Carolina, crooked-ass South Carolina, for the Patreon episode. A horrible case that is going to take you to a million different places. Wow. Frustration of George Stinney Jr. And the movie Green Mile was kind of inspired by this case. So,
interesting.
Get on Patreon to hear that episode. Don't forget to
stay aware,
stay alive,
and always be DTF.
Bye, y'all.
Goodbye.
Everybody has a story worth telling. I'm Corey Duncan. On Best Story Ever, I take guests that you know through their most unique and captivating stories. The best part? I hear the story for the first time when you do. Everyone has a story. What's yours? Find Best Story Ever on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Hola, yo soy Jackie.
Y yo soy Jessica.
Y esto es Zona del Crimen. podcast donde hablaremos sobre casos de crímenes reales
y eventos impactantes que han quedado marcados a través del tiempo. Recuerden que nos pueden seguir en Facebook, Instagram
o donde escuches tus podcasts favoritos.
Hey, I'm Blair.
And I'm Brittany. And we're the host of
By the Cover Podcast.
We cover everything from mysteries, thrillers, romance, chick lit, and even some smut.
Don't forget the smut.
Yeah.
We're so excited to get this thing going and share this with you guys. We've been talking about this for months, and it's finally happening.
Yes.
Special shout out to Rogue Media for helping us with this.
For sure, for sure. You can find us on Instagram at bythecover_podcast.
You can also find us on Facebook and TikTok, so don't forget to give us a follow on those two also.
And we are so excited to dive into some of our favorite books and share those with you.
We can't wait. Hope you love it.
Hi, and welcome to Bustles and Bangers with your hostess, Rachel and Christopher.
I love it when you say my name.
And you didn't say hi.
I didn't. You just kept going. I'm going to introduce the book. I'm not reading it.
It's
because I don't like reading.
Girls like cowboy butts, and those jeans don't hide anything.
Find us on Instagram at Bustles and Bangers or on RogueMediaNetwork.com.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.